JD in the Duffle Bag podcast, Chuckie online. I don't even need to do all of that. You know what it is really when you hear the voice or see the face and that. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're here. There's a lot going on. There's conversations being had and that. You know, when I look at the year of 2021, I say to myself, who's had a year like it? I say, who's had a year like it?
It's mad,
It's
isn't
just a bit mad.
It's almost too much.
I got Arrdee with me. What's going on, my brother? How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm feeling healthier than usual. So, yeah, we're good, man.
Before we start anything, you was looking at the where we're at and you're like, right, it feels like we're in some interrogation.
Yeah, it's
like,
a bit of interrogation, isn't it?
Lie detector test.
Yeah.
Bro, it's been mad. I can't even lie. Like the whole year that you've had has just been insane. I'm assuming that you ain't had a moment to really deep what's going on.
Yeah, this is what I tell most people. Like, where it's like 1,000,000 miles per hour, bruv, even faster, I don't get no opportunity to soak things in. And then the time that I do have to relax and sit back and maybe soak things in, it's the little things that hit me that maybe, like, so this massive thing that I've just done, I don't have time to process.
Yeah.
But then, like, when Rio and Ian have DM'd me, I'm losing my mind, like, rah, rah, rah. But really, that all makes sense with everything else that's going on.
Of course,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Do things feel, does it feel normal?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So things like the big stages that I'm shutting down and tunes doing what they're doing, like, where it's all been manifested and I've been working at it for 5 years. And I'm only 19, but I've been working at it for 5-6 years. It all feels like it's meant to be. So before it happens, in my head I would have thought, oh, when that comes, I'm going to feel like blah, blah, blah. Then it comes, I'm like, nah, you know what, like, this is meant to be. We're meant to be here, bro.
Yeah. Looking at you from the outside looking in, it's like you're walking up and down the place like you've been here for time.
Yeah, a few people have said. But also as well, where we're doing things and then it's moving so fast, I almost have to move on to the next thing anyway and just stay elevating, because when you've got something that's going on in the scene that we're in, as I'm sure you know because you've seen it a lot, you just got to run as fast and as far as you can and establish yourself as quickly as possible. So yeah, otherwise I'd still be stuck on things that I was doing in July, August time.
Yeah,
so I've just got, okay, I've done this now. What's the next step? And keep going.
Is there a part of you though that also feels like, I just don't even want it to stop?
Yeah, it's definitely that. As my people would tell, I never sit down, even when I'm recording, performing, like I can never sit still, even here. When I watch my interviews back, I always watch my interviews back, I'm like, why am I shaking my leg for so long? But yeah, so it's almost that. Tomorrow's never promised in that sense. No. So while we got it, trying to get as far as we can with it and establish it and then move it together as a foundation. But the foundation's got to be solid first. Yeah.
I want to get to know you a little bit, so I'm going to go back and just like kind of pick your brains on a few things. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're the seaside boy. Mm-hmm. And
seaside?
I've been to Brighton for DJ gigs. I've been there for like tour dates with artists and stuff like that. I've been there with a gal. Yeah, I bet. You know what I'm saying? The little light seaside thing on the summertime and that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because obviously we can just go and get a lovely fish and chips and that. Banging. Yeah. So we know it for that. But like, we don't essentially know it so much for artistry as such. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about like your upbringing and where you came from and what your environment was like growing up as someone who was like 13, 14.
Obviously, it is seaside and fish and chips, and that is a big part of it. But everywhere you go, there's nice areas and there's not so nice areas. And I never grew up around no like knife crime or violence, but it was more just like Chavy and Asbo and stealing motorbikes and things like that. But that was when I was a lot younger. And then by the time I was 12, 13, I lived in a place called Woodend Dean, which is like quite far out from the centre of Brighton. Like there's nothing for kids to do around there really. There's no like, obviously there's no youth clubs really anywhere no more anyway. But there was a one park that all the little naughty kids used to congregate at, and then they built a skate park there to try and have us doing something. But then that just became a hub for more stupidness to go on. But again, it wasn't like mad, dumb stuff. My mum didn't want me to go to the secondary school that was round the corner from there because the friends that I was with, and like, it's almost very villagey, like families that they send down and whatnot. Everybody knows everyone, and we needed like another fresh start. So I went to the other side of Brighton, which is Hove. Went to another secondary school, Hove Park, and because they had like blazers and ties, and the part of Brighton that I was at, like one half of it had all the secondary schools have blazers and ties, and the other half is just it's not that in it. So I was nervous, like, oh, I'm not gonna make no friends, and they might look at me as chavvy or.
Do you feel different? You felt different?
Yeah, almost, because like I never went into Brighton on that side so much, and everything around there, it looks different. So in my head, I'm like, oh, it's Hove, like it's posh, like, and it wasn't even that. We got there, and straight away linked up with Mandem. I was doing the same stuff that I was doing in the other side. So.
Yeah. The street, like a slight element of the streets took you a tiny bit in it. Like,
So like the people I linked up with, like you always link up with characters you're meant to link up with. Almost like the energy you put out, you attract, kind of thing. So naturally, I ended up making friends with the naughty boys, or like the boys, whatever you want to call it in school. Academically, I was fine, and that's what I was saying. I was never naughty. It was more like cheeky, and I didn't have respect for no hierarchy. So if a teacher didn't show me no respect based on things they've heard from other teachers, like I was banned from science. Weren't allowed to do science. Weren't allowed to go to the science lessons.
Why? Because you just kept sleeping in
the first two teachers that I had in science really did not like me. And that was at the time I was like just puberty, 13, 14. I was a bit more aggressive than 15, 16. I grew out of it all quite fast, but I made friends with the right teachers. I had respect for those that had for me. Right. And luckily, one of them was the head of behaviour. We had just a set guy that was head of behaviour. And if you heard like his keys coming or his footsteps, like, man knew what time it was. You had to pattern up, but he liked me, innit? In terms of like music and whatnot, Brighton has a massive scene, not just for music, but just like everything around it, all like the graffiti and the skaters, and obviously it's a lot more hip hop. So like the likes of like Ocean Wisdom.
Yeah. But that's been like, to be fair though, that has been a thing for years though. I'm sure that has been a thing for years. I'm sure that there's like someone that I respect quite highly, or I think he's Snips, his name is. He's a proper hip hop head, and I'm sure he was from Brighton, and he used to always talk about like some of the things that were happening there, whether it just be nights or record shop or whatever it may be. Or just like
exactly. It's like a massive culture of like just music in general. Obviously, there's a load of clubs and whatnot, but like loads of music stores. There's a youth, or what I put it as, like a charity kind of group called Audio Active, where they put on sessions at different buildings where they'd have like equipment. So they'd have like a bunch of Macs there, bunch of mics, they'd have like songwriters there, and they try and do a lot for, again, that was like more from my side of Brighton, where it was naughtier kids and us doing things. So there was a lot of that, but I never really fell in love with the whole like grime or drill or whatever you want to call it, like more like London sounding rap, until German Whip came out. That was the first grime tune I'd ever heard. And I was in year 6 when German Whip came out, imagine.
Okay.
So like, I was new to it, but then yeah, from there I've always had a thing. I like to dive into things, even when I fell in love with like American hip hop, and it was Eminem and Lil Wayne. I'd proper like dive in and went all the way back to like Lil Wayne's origin story, where he was shot and that Fed come and saved him, and all like the Eminem stuff. I used to print off lyrics and read them. Like I was quite almost like obsessive tendencies.
Okay.
So when German Whip came out, and then That's Not Me came out, I just dove right to the back end of the scene of like Wiley, what do you call it, and all. It was the Lord of the Mic clashes that really made me like fall in love with it properly.
Was there a clash in particular?
Yeah, the Skepta and Devilman one. That was my favourite one, just because it was just that just hype all the way through, innit? Yeah, it's a classic one. So yeah, that we started reenacting them in year 7. So I had like music rooms in school with the DJ button and just muck about in music kind of thing. So then, I used to do that with all of like my group of mates. And then eventually nobody wanted to do it with me no more, because I became almost like the jammer in the middle of whoever was doing that at the time. But they were like, yeah, you should write, because like you can actually rap. They were all kind of openly like, we're just having fun, innit? But you could tell that I was enjoying myself properly, and I'd fell in love with it. So yeah, I just wrote something. I think I ordered like a £50 USB mic on Amazon, and I had Audacity on some on a Chromebook. Furthermore, or even like Chromebook, you can't even do certain things on the Chromebook. It's just for browsing the internet, really. But yeah.
Wait, what the hell is a Chromebook?
It's a laptop that was made by Google. They've got good ones now, but at the time you couldn't do nothing on them. Like you had to like do some mad like hack to even like download Minecraft, which is a really small bit of RAM that you need to use to play Minecraft. You couldn't even do that on them. But yeah, and then just put it out, and a lot of the older lot, because obviously all of my lot had older brothers. We had 2 campuses. We had lower was 7, 8 and 9, and then upper was 10, 11 and 6th form. But you had to cross paths at like a central point Grenadier to all get the bus, and they used to mock it because I was terrible, if I'm honest. Like it weren't good music, but I just didn't care.
You're just doing your thing and just trying to almost find your feet. Let me go back to something that you said quickly, actually, because it made me realize that there's something that we don't talk about a lot when we discuss like even a part of the journey of like how we've even got here musically. But like what German Whip actually did at that time is so key to like that next wave of people just making music and just doing what they wanted to do, like in a really, really big way.
Because in year 7, obviously a lot of towns after That's Not Me and German Whip almost tried to imitate London culture, and like so all the kids that I knew started coming to school with the Nightman bag or the little backpack. But before that, before German Whip, I had no idea about like, I didn't know no London slang. Obviously all the slang comes from London as well, but it almost like a wave just flooded all the little OT towns, if that's what you're going to call them, Eastbourne, Hastings, Brighton, and obviously now you can see it's like across the country. So
you actually never had like prior to that moment, even though you were super young and that, you never had like that mad that desire to just be in and around London?
I've never been to London. I've never seen what it's like. I never spoke to nobody from London. I didn't even have a smartphone until I was in year 7, so it weren't even like I was active on socials and things like that. It was just a thing. The tune flooded everywhere. That tune was everywhere. So yeah, I think I heard it in a park, just like for some older lot playing it in the skate park that I was talking about.
So you was like, obviously then there was a period now where you started making a little bit of money by doing like, you was painting, decorating and stuff like that as well, right?
Yeah, I done a bit. I got like a family business, a butcher's as well. I done bits there, painting, decorating with my other uncles. Amazon warehouse a lot later, but yeah, I was doing bits.
And then reinvesting that into like trying to get into studios and like even doing YouTube and that?
Not so much YouTube, but I was definitely reinvesting going to studio. Really, I got to big up Dread, because he used to just, obviously he's like a friend that I'm mad close with now, but he's a bit older than me. So he used to have a day, because obviously, like I said, we was all naughty, but I'm not going to go through everything and say what we was doing obviously my mum's watching, but... Yeah, of course.
No, I hear it though. I hear that still.
Because
you know what? It's like, there's certain things that might have happened, and you think like your mum's watching what's going on.
And it's part of the story as well. So part of me, when I do like I know I'm a bit older and I do my own pop, then we can talk about it. But she's very she's like, what do you call it, a Facebook mum. So she's very socially and publicly proud of me. So, but yeah, he used to pick a day. He was like, yo, you know what, get away from all of that. And it was a Sunday, and we go to this studio, Telwood, Mitch, big up Mitch now. I don't know what he's doing, but I know he's abroad somewhere living it. But yeah, but I was more networking than anything. And this was before I knew what networking, I only learned what networking was from like the age of 16, 17. But I was doing it before I knew there was a name for it, like trying to make friends with a videographer. Like one time he'd done cheeky bars at 6 a.m, but I knew him just from same school, link up, be pally. And then when time's coming, I was like, oh, you know what, I ain't got a lot of money, but you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, and then we get a video together. And that's basically what networking is, building relationships and links with people that can open another door for you when you don't have money or X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, because you started obviously doing, you started popping up on YouTube and that and doing a couple freestyles and that, like from mad early on. Yeah,
YouTube freestyles, Insta freestyles again, where Brighton is quite more hip hop. After I'd fell in love with the whole grime and whatnot, where I'm still around this whole hip hop culture, Pot of Paper was like my whole teenage years. Obviously I'm still a teenager now, but that's just like the soundtrack, all of them. Training Day 1, 2, all his rap TV, free, all of them. So I was more going for Pot of Paper type beats, and that's what I was making, that kind of music. Literally, like 9 months ago. I hadn't even jumped on a drill beat like that. It was more my manager and friends around me that was like, yo, like drill is popping. Bear in mind, I'm still not going to London that much. I'm bunking the train and going to studios and listening in, but it's not breaking down in my head that that's a sound that can break through. Yeah. And everyone's telling me to do it. And I'm saying, brother, I'm from Brighton. I don't do drillings. There's nothing I can rap about that. And then it's like, no, just be yourself. And then it's people like Millions and like Sench, where man are jumping on more musical drill beats. There's 100%. Instruments in there, and there's actually, and I thought, no, you know what, like.
Do you know how important it is to actually just be able to just be yourself? Because it's the easiest thing to be.
And that's why I didn't wanna change it and jump on a drill beat, and I could have put a ballet on, and because I can rap and write, and I was always good at English, and I could have come up with some crazy story about who I was and where I was from and blah blah blah. But I didn't want to do that, because in my head, it's like, imagine if that does blow. And I've got to live a double life now.
Fam, can I just tell you?
That is a myth.
Like, seeing the year that you've had and just watching you now, now I know what I know. Seeing you with a ballet on, is a...
Imagine just talking crud.
Do you know how funny that is?
It never would have done nothing either.
you get people that accidentally put themselves in problems. And what I mean by that is that you're saying all of this stuff, and now you almost feel like you need to do something smoky.
And it's like I was saying earlier, like the energy you put out into the world is reciprocated against you. If that's what you're talking about, eventually, like, brother, you could just manifest something mad happening to you. If I'm rapping about all of that, then I'm bunking the train to London and I'm being in, like, I used to go to this studio in Woolwich, and it was like late night. I was on my own, bunking the train all the way there, like Saturday, Friday night, 10, 11. I didn't know no one from London. So I'm rapping all of that. That's the energy I'm putting out into the world. That's not what I'm about. And my mum's quite spiritual as well, so it was definitely wasn't a lane I was trying to go down.
Do you have a good relationship with your pups?
I don't cuss him, but I always swerve off of this, but I actually do. It's a relationship that isn't the most, what would I say? Not original, but like usual relationship with your dad. Obviously, when you hear about certain things on the Black Bot freestyle and whatnot, there's a lot that's happened. But I also do have a lot of love for him. Like that USB mic that I ordered, that £50, I shouted him for that money.
Okay.
But obviously, he's due to certain circumstances and things that happened with my mum when he was younger. He was bouncing around in different countries and weren't coming back to the UK, and there was a lot. But he's like a mad good friend of mine. Well, I see majority of myself in him. These lot behind you now, I see him smiling. They'll tell you like it's almost like spitting image. But because of that, again, it's not massively role modelly, and he can do it at times, but obviously it's very monkey see, monkey do. So that's why my mum, I pick up a lot of like can do attitude, because she was on her own. Me, my big brother who had autism, went back, got her GCSEs done, ended up being as high as she could in like behavioural studies and in school, went to uni, got her black belt, and done all of that with no like stress or me realising that we were struggling or nothing. So in my head growing up, obviously now I can look back and be like, right, we didn't have much and blah, blah, blah. But at the time, it was just like, yeah, this is life, like normal life.
Did your older brother live with you as well? Does he live with you as well?
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, like, was it sort of difficult being in a family home where it's just you, your mum and your brother, and obviously your brother has a disability like that? Like, did you almost feel like there was a little something on your shoulders in regards to helping out in that?
Well, obviously, from like the ages of when I'm born till like 7 or 8, in my head it weren't even a disability. I knew it was different, but it was just like, so he's very straightforward, and I still love spending time with him now, because he won't like, you see, like, if he got a girl now, but say like his girl's like, oh, do I look fat in this? If she looks fat in it, you can be like, yeah. You're like, you look terrible, innit? So it's almost it's almost refreshing to be around someone like that. But obviously there are other things that I look back at now. So like, I can never stay in my yard. I'll have the maddest month and do 1 million shows and studio and interviews and whatever. And if I have one day in the month where I could actually go and relax, I'm gonna go in a club and party. I think that stems from when I was younger, my mum had to cater a lot more to my brother's needs than mine, because I didn't have that many needs. I was quite good, I'm still good now, kind of looking after myself. So I was always outside. So I think there's a bit of, I'm a massive attention seeker.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that stems from that. But again, that's a blessing, because if it weren't that, I wouldn't do what I do on stage.
Of course.
I wouldn't be so flamboyant with my attitude in my music videos and things like that. So everything that's written for you and meant to be for you in this life will be, innit?
See, Cheeky Bars, is that when things started to really change for you a bit?
Well, things started to change in my head before that, because obviously I talk about manifesting a lot. So basically what happened was I met a guy called Biggs in college, and this is my first year in college, and I was like, again, I've moved from the secondary school that I'm at, everybody's gone to a certain college, my mum's done the whole thing again, like, I don't want you going to college with rare, because blah, blah, blah. So at this point, she needs to realise that it's me more time, innit, because we've changed friendship groups 2 times.
There's a common denominator here, mum.
Get me, there's something going on.
I hear that still.
But when I met Biggs, I think he's originally from Croydon, so he was working at Finesse Forever at the time. And he heard me rapping one time, I was like, yo, you're cold, like, you need to do this and that. But I almost had this negative outlook of like, oh, but you have, like, he lives with his parents, and like what he's got going on for him is good, and he's doing these big things in these studios. So in my head, I was like, yeah, but you can say that, because you ain't got the responsibilities that I've got back home, and things that are going on, and money and blah, blah, blah. Like, we've just been evicted out of one house in Ports Lane and had to move all the way down to somewhere else. So but he kept getting on to me about that, and then started going to studio to this place in Woolwich. and meeting different people. I started sleeping at the studio in Beat Freak's studio in the East. And
honourable shout out to Beat Freak.
Yeah. That was where I spent a lot of my time sleeping there, quite frequently. That was where the first artist I met was Swarms. And Swarms was like, yo, like, you can rap. You watch my Black Box. I'm like, you can rap. And actually told man that was like my first established person that told me that I was actually good, innit? I jumped on a drill beat and I was in college and I was rapping it over the phone. So they were playing the beat in the studio and I was rapping over the phone, like while hearing the beat from them. And he was like, you need to record this, like, this could work. What are you doing? I was like, I'll come record it now. He's like, shut up, man. I walked out of my college, which I don't recommend for anybody, but I was literally in the middle of a college lesson, like teachers there. I'm doing music in college anyway. But yeah, I've left, gone and done that. He's like, no, you know what? Like, he started to believe. He saw the hustle in me. So when we recorded that, I went back the next time and I had a big book at A4, like, and I wrote my idea for the music video. And he was kind of like, yeah, thinking that I was pitching him. So he was like, all right, I want to see what you do, innit? Next time you see me, the video is recorded. And everything that I've wrote down and told him that I'm going to do in this video, I've done. I've directed it, we've got it shot, like, everything's there. She's like, no, I believe in it. So that was a single, which never even come out, but the plan was, we need to write a freestyle first. Let's hope it goes mad, man, and put all our energy into that, and then release a single.
Right.
So then we've put cheeky bars out. That's part of the plan, and it just went brazy, like way bra. I thought, what was he hoping for? Like a 20k or something? A 20 or a 30k? Isn't it? Yeah. And shout out Sam, because again, Sam was showing me love. Like, I didn't have money like that, but Sam, I think he controls the uploads. He's like, no, you know what? I got the man, blah blah blah. That, again, from building links, networking, and going to London when I didn't have no money. But yeah, we put it out. We was hoping for like a 20, 30k and stem off it in like a week, and we put it out, and it went dumb. I think got like 100k quickly. It went all over the meme.
Good, innit?
Yeah, it's mad. I just look back now, like, boy, if we got 20k views in a week now on a video, the way I'll be getting phone calls.
Oh, mate.
It'll be mad.
I'm telling you. I mean, that's mad, and that's a thing that I think later on in your career that you will need to try to find a balance of, innit? Because you know what, like, sometimes you might believe in something, and it might not bang compared to the next thing, but it doesn't mean that it's not popping, though. Because if you're just measuring it just by the number all the time, if you're saying, right, okay, boom, this one got 28 mil, then this one comes out and this one gets only 5-6 mil. It's
still 6
million. That's 5-6 million, you know.
It's true, and that's a point that I make quite. Obviously, there's more to me now. There's the team, and there's the label, and there's loads of different things going on, but I think they all know and understand my passion and love for music. So it's not every day. Like, I've got a lot, obviously we've got projects and whatnot. I've got a load of things where I've wrote a song and the song's coming out, but my aim for that song isn't to smash the charts, because that's not really what rap or hip hop or whatever you want to call it is about. The ones that have done number 5 Flowers or number 6 Oliver Twist, I wasn't writing at the time thinking, I need to write a top 10 tune. When I wrote the body verse, I wasn't thinking, I need to write a number 1 verse.
But do you write now with TikTok in mind?
Oliver Twist that went mad on TikTok, or the body verse that went mad on TikTok. I had like 7,000 followers on TikTok. I wasn't using it like that. And I was being told to by a load of people. And I was kind of just saying, it's a phase, man. I was like, don't worry about it. Like, it's going to be good, you know what I'm saying? And now, obviously, large up TikTok, because it definitely changed my life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I think I just write how I'm feeling at the time. So I've got party tunes or lit tunes where at the time I've been partying a lot. Oliver Twist, where I'm saying, you think I didn't take risks to get to this, that was obviously after Body. Everybody was calling me an industry plant. So
I was like, about to mention that. So I was going to say, like, because that came up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And the thing is, see, like with the industry plant thing, it comes up every once in a while. Like, there's someone that comes through, and sometimes the person that comes through that people say that about do not always seem like they come from the community in some way. So they think, where did he come from? Who's this kid? What,
he's definitely got an uncle that works at a label or something.
Yeah. Like, how, when that started to become a thing, or people started talking about it, you started hearing about it, what was going through your mind?
Well, obviously, like, when I come, I done Chuckie bar 6 a.m, Us as a country or a culture, we take the piss out of ourselves, other people. It's just a thing. So a lot of hate that was being said, I weren't taking to heart at all. I was just finding it funny. People obviously saying about H. I used to wear my glasses. Mama called me Harry Potter, like, and it was funny to me. And then the Body came and the industry plant thing came, and it was almost like I took it well, but also it's the first comment I took negatively, because that moment was like, if I'm an industry plant in your eyes, I must actually be somewhere. Like, in your eyes, if I've been planted into the industry, I must be in now. So it's like an achievement. I'm in the game now. And then the other half of that is, right, they think I ain't, like, worked for years and years and had a whole story. And obviously, no, unless you, like, know me, you wouldn't know that.
That's where more it comes from, I think. It's more about, like, people thinking that.
And obviously, a lot of rappers that blow from, like, London or wherever, they have a lot of verification from wherever, a postcode or X, Y, and Z. Man's like, no, my man, like, he does this and that, or I know him. And I feel like it was harder for me to establish that I wasn't an industry plant coming from a town where no rappers have, apart from Wisdom, have blown, innit?
The body thing, that was where I think the majority of people just heard you, innit?
Yeah.
You just come out and...
We went from 1 million views in a month to 80.
I think your impact on that song took it to a complete different place, I believe, yeah? And like, that is not to take away from what these men do, because they are super cold, and Russ in particular has countless, he's just got countless.
You know what I was going to say about Russ? He has so many pivotal points where he's changed. So like Keisha and Becky was one of the first tunes on drill where man, or like, I think it was Gunlean even before that, man could dance to a drill. Drill was now being played in the main room in clubs, not like the rap room. Like, Gunlean was everywhere, mama dancing, and kids from where I'm from, or, I don't know, Devon or Cornwall, were like listening to this drill music. And then that changed the game for a bit, and everybody was trying to make hit singles, and that like birthed a lot of rappers. I'm not going to start saying names, but it birthed a lot of rappers. And then with the body video, not the remix, the actual body video, that whole Shatai, and then the man them appeared behind him, everyone now is doing transitions. I never saw no transition in the UK anyway, in no rap videos, until I saw that. And when it was done, it was like, right, it makes so much sense.
One day, I think there's going to be like a lot of, by people who understand, and people that are like really fans of this thing and that as well. I think there'll be like, Russ will get a lot of flowers,
100%.
Because when you really dissect what he did, whether it was intentional or not, like, he changed things in quite a big way.
Yeah, 100.
And I know that he had a moment where he was probably feeling like he made some questionable stuff and whatnot, but he even bounced back from that and then started coming back again.
And what it was going through at them times as well, when all that was happening, is madness. But it's the same with Tion. So like, Tion didn't have that. People were advising against, because obviously Tion was the one that brought me onto the song.
Yeah, how did that, what do you mean anyway? Like, you're saying that he was the one who brought you onto the song, but what, like, talk to me about the conversation that you had.
It's like, again, it's just another thing that's written. Cheeky Bars come out, obviously it was on the meme pages and whatnot, and there were platforms that said they wanted it when originally they didn't want it, and Mixtape were happy and pushing it for me properly as well, so we obviously went with Mixtape. And he just liked my post and followed me on my Insta. I don't think he'd commented yet, but obviously these times I only had 9,000, my likes weren't crazy. I could see every like that was coming through, and obviously I'd hit everyone like, right, Tion follows me. Then I dropped 6 a.m. and he DM'd me and voice noted me and was like, yo bro, like you're cold, I like what you're doing, man, it's different, I'm feeling it, big up. And then obviously that was when the 6 a.m. first come out. So after that, it got its million views. I think that was my first million in a week, 2 weeks, because Cheeky Bars took a month to get 1 million. And then
that sounds long, innit? But it's really not.
It's not. But now
it just took, you know what I mean? It took a month still.
No, I'm just
big man.
I'm just putting it into perspective, innit? Like, but that's how far. My first freestyle, a month to get 1 million. My second freestyle, 2 weeks. Like, everything that's happened is rapido moving. But either ways, I had to stay up in London. I think this is when obviously labels were hollering and different meetings and whatnot, and I had to stay in London quite a lot more. So I was staying at this apart hotel. Obviously I'm feeling like the boy a little bit, my stuff's popping, I've shouted girls and we're getting bottles and trying to invite them over to the hotel and whatnot. But either ways, I've come back to the hotel about 1 a.m, and his G-Wagon and just a bunch of cars have pulled up. And if you know them, man, if they're like on road in London, they roll ballied up, like obviously for multiple reasons. But they've jumped and there's bare of them, bruv. And obviously Tion is like 6 foot something. Yeah. So he's pulled up now and I'm stuck, my code on the hotel door is not working. And I've got a little bit of change now. I've got my drip on, my Gucci band. I'm thinking, yeah, this could get sticky, innit? Like, I'm not with no one. But he's come and grabbed my shoulder and was like, what, Arrdee, yeah? And he's like giggling. It's like, bro, I'm thinking this might be my first bit of just recognition in London anyway. And then obviously he's pulled his belly off. It was Tion.
Oh, mad.
Brought me up into his room because it was his brethren's birthday. That's why they were there. talked about body. I think either the original body was out or it weren't even out yet, but he was showing me it and showing me about it and was like, yo, we're going to do a remix, rare. So then body's gone out, popped off, video's done mad on TikTok. They're talking about a remix. I've wrote straight away, yeah, gone to the studio, laid them down. My manager was like, yo, that State of the Body bar, that's the bar. He's come, listened to it, loved it, said he's putting me on, but he's had a load of people, I don't know how many, but quite a few people from his team were advising like, yo, like, who is this Arrdee kid? Why are we putting him on this remix that's already number 17 in the chart? Like, you're bussing him, rare, and it weren't like...
Yeah.
But obviously, he done the same thing with H, or Keisha and Becky. I think it was... And he's quite good at spotting talent and potential of things to go.
Yeah. But then you kind of came, like, now it seems like you sort of become a person now that, like, people just want to work with you now.
Yeah,
and
trust
have
me.
that, yeah. And then there was like a little thing that came out at one point where the Diggity situation, where it was like he talks about essentially
what happened, didn't it? What happened?
Being on a song with you or whatever.
In their
Which,
chat.
in my opinion, like I know obviously the conversation was the conversation or whatever, and it sounded a bit mad, but ultimately it kind of is the business anyway.
Yeah,
because that's part of the business.
I never felt no way.
How did you feel like?
I never felt no way. Obviously, he said into the chat, yo, he said what people are saying in the comments, which was true. That was what people were saying in the comments. They were saying, oh, it should have had AJ, or why has he got Arrdee on it? And again, it was at a time where obviously I've only dropped Oliver Twist and Body. Obviously, what was said, but me and Digger are cool. I still speak to Digger. It's never been anything in real life or like on socials anyway. So I think it was just a conversation. And like he said, he come out on his live, people banter and just say things that they don't, like, I'm sure if every like Mandem's group chat got leaked out online. Every celebrity, me, like, bruv, people just say stupid, dumb, and obviously your sense of humour in your little group is your little sense of humour, innit? It's like a safe space. So I never felt no way, and that's why when it all got turned into something, I just didn't really feel. This is the first time I've ever spoken on it, innit? I didn't really feel that it was necessary for me to speak on it because it was just blown out of proportion by the meme pages. And obviously big up him as well for on his show, he publicly came out and said like, yo, it weren't that. But even that, like, he didn't have to do that. He knew between me and him personally, it weren't that.
Don't you find that the comparisons between you and H are just lazy and almost offensive? I just think, because I didn't even know that was a thing until I started seeing like a few people talk about it, and I thought like that's just a bit mad. Like
you know what? Yeah. We don't look like each other. Obviously, we have similar haircuts. I'd say mine's flyer.
Similar.
He'd say his flyer.
For God's sake, bro.
The only thing I will say is I understood it a bit more when I met him, and I think because he's been in the game longer, a lot more people might feel like they know him when they don't know me. But in terms of who we are as people, he's very comfortable in his skin, and he's himself. He's not like bad or like on road, and he raps about similar things that we're talking about. Obviously, the flow's different, the cadence is different, and his style is nothing like different. But when I met him, like, brother, I say to him all the time, he's like a Manny version of me, or I'm like a Brighton version of him. So we proper get along. Like, that's my brother. He's cool, innit? But at the same time, you can't compare musically. You can't compare us.
Yeah, man. But big up to H anyway. I'll pop a check for H. It's actually his birthday today, the day we're recording this. So yeah, big up to H. I love your confidence on stage. By the way, like, I know your DJ very well. Yeah. He talks a lot about, like, he spoke to me today in particular, just about the confidence that you have on the stage. Like, you get your top off. It's like you're just being up and down.
Just going mad,
And then also just being like being able to just embrace that element to that degree, which is not necessarily a normal thing. I think some people find it quite difficult and can be quite shy when you're in front of a lot of people, and you come from it's just all different to you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. But it was, a thing was like, again, I know I keep talking about it, but the whole manifesting thing, I never manifested blowing or having 1 million views. Or when you manifest, you have one image, and that image was me on the Woodstock stage that DMX done, like that massive crowd he had. So then when that comes, that all feels like, again, it's just proper meant to be. That's like my happy place. I couldn't be more comfortable anywhere else, maybe studio, whatever, but yeah, that's me, like, to a T.
Did you manifest, what's her name, Angel C or whatever her name is, or whatnot? Is that your one?
Nah, it's not my one.
Is that your, because listen, go on my man's TikTok, yeah? It's like the last, I think it's I don't know when you're seeing this, but it's there.
Yeah.
In a light hotel, she's taking ages to get ready and that.
Oh, you done your research.
Come on. Yeah, I see her just getting ready and that in the thing. Is this what's happening now, yeah?
What's understood?
TikTok stars and that.
What's understood don't need to be said. My private life and my public life is two different.
I hear you.
That's all I'm saying.
Listen, enjoy it. It's absolutely, let me tell you this, bro. You see like that early stage? Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah.
It's lovely. I know. I mean, I ain't had your thing, but traveling around with an artist and stuff like that, I understand it, man. But yeah, just have some fun. You know what I mean? Learn some things about yourself. Honourable shout out to Angel and that, if that's what.
No, for real, though, big up Angel because she does a lot for me, and obviously our platform is big as well. And we get along. I mean,
honourable shout out to Puma for making this happen. We can't forget you. Do you know who your manager is, by the way? Does anyone ever tell you about who you? I know you don't want to do, but you said Versa. You said I was like, what Versa? MC Versatile, yeah. Big boy manager now, from a long time and that. But had the funky rhythm from back in the day.
Of course, yeah, baby.
So when you heard him before on the microphone introducing you to on the stage and that, and you.
But we've done a set together, you know. You ain't seen that?
No, I ain't seen it.
Nah, it's a madness.
Is it? Yeah,
it was lit.
You're one of the coldest managers, talented from all different directions. You know what I mean?
On.
Honourable shout out to Versatile every time he's sitting there still looking like,
yeah, he hates it now. No, you know what? He pretends he hates it. He loves it, but don't ever let him fool you. He loves it.
Bro. I know you have to go. But what's next? Lastly, what?
Obviously, the tour's coming up next year. There might be a possible remix of said tune coming, maybe not. We got a stupid big tune coming next year, and may or may not have a project coming sooner than you think.
Well, bro, good to talk to you, man.
Big up, my guy.
And yeah, all the best with all of it, man. And just have as much fun as possible. You've been doing that. You seem like the person who's having the most amount of fun organically.
Yeah.
Not so much from like you're making money and stuff like that. But it doesn't seem like your fun is from a material aspect. It just seems like it's just a life thing, and I respect that.
Just enjoy life.
Come on, my brother. Arrdee, JD and the Duffle Bag podcast. Yeah, Chuckie online at Arrdee.
Yes.